Okay, guys, I think we are now live in our live stream for this evening. I'm just waiting for the secondary screen on our laptop to activate before we start with our discussions for this evening. Kasi for tonight, we are going to tackle not only pageantry, but also we're going to be talking about some topics on fashion as well. Kasi I think we need to be able to cover all of these, what do you call this, all of these topics for this evening dahil maraming nangyayari simultaneously this week with regards to pageantry and fashion. Okay, so we'll just a recap. We will be talking about Angelica Lopez and her competition at Miss International in Japan. We will be talking about a little bit about the Heart World episode that aired last evening, Saturday night, and the upcoming episodes that is going to be I think going to be very explosive next week in Saturday for I think it's the third or fourth episode na. And then we will be talking about Miss Earth. I know that there's a lot of people asking me about Miss Earth. Unfortunately, I'm not able to be as involved in my coverage for Miss Earth this year, and this is due to multiple conflicts on my schedule with my teaching and with my content creator content creation rather na responsibility. So medyo nag-overlap sila, and something has to something has to be sacrificed. Okay, and unfortunately, I did not expect that kokonte yung post regarding Miss Earth. In fact, I think on my end, I was only able to post maybe one or two posts about Miss Earth, and some reposts as well on Facebook, but I was not able to really go through their their preliminary pre-pageant mga activities. But we will be talking about that later on. Okay, then we are going to be talking about the LVMH sales drop that has been a main topic for a lot of business people at the luxury end sector of the fashion industry. A lot are actually worried with regards to LVMH not hitting their targets this third quarter, and that it has shown not necessarily huge, but rather still significant na mga misses when it comes to their sales target this year. I think in terms of the fashion and leather goods sector, LVMH posted, I think, a -3, -1, and now a -4.4 or -5 something na growth for their third quarter. And we will talk about that, what it means for the luxury goods market, what it means in terms of the MIV, EMV, kasi isa ito sa mga markers na ang EMV, MIV does not necessarily equate to sales, knowing that, and LVMH brands like Dior usually top these MIV, EMV lists. And then we will be talking about Mr. International, because tonight is the finals, and we will watch the proceedings after this live stream. Okay, so I think we shall begin para to get the ball rolling. I don't want this live stream to go 2 hours, just like we had with Mark Sobrajani last Saturday. But we'll start siguro with the Mr. International na competition. So tonight is the finals, and the finals is going to be in Toledo City, Cebu. Unfortunately, even if I wanted to go cover for the finals, it's not feasible because one, even if magparamdam ako sa organization that I wanted to cover, it will not be in harmony with my schedule. So, I only do back-end na tawag nito, na coverage and repost mga tawag ito, mga content on that. I rather do a tawag ito, a feedback and review na umuulan. Feedback and review na coverage for Mr. International dahil wala ko on site. However, thankfully, we have mga friends in the pageant media na nandun ngayon sa Cebu na nagko-cover ng pageant, and based on their content, based on the feedback that I've been seeing on their feed regarding the proceedings at Mr. International, nakikita ko din kasi on social media that there are two candidates na going above and beyond when it comes to their presence on social media, and those are Spain's Francisco Zafra and Peru's Estefano Ballarin. Now, when Franz Zafra was named, Mr. International Spain, Espanya, a couple of months back, ay kinutuban na ako na mukhang ito yung candidate na pwedeng mag back-to-back win after Jose Campos Calle won last year. Now, for those who are asking, Jose Campos Calle is not able to join and travel for the Mr. International Finals and turn over his title simply because he is currently an active military man and he is called on duty. As you all know, Spain suffered a devastating what do you call this? Na flood. I think it's in the province of Valencia. And currently, kasama si Jose Calle doon sa mga military personnel who are on site to help rehabilitate the place. And if you look at his regular posting on his Instagram stories, you will see that he has been very active when it comes to the cleanups, the humanitarian and the charity na ginagawa ng military in order to help people who are who are affected by the floods. It is reported that around 89 persons are dead in the flooding, and then there are hundreds more who are affected. Hundreds of families are affected by the floods. So I understand that he's not able to travel because he has to start his civil duties to his country first and foremost. So that is the reason why Jose Calle is not able to join the Mr. International finals this evening. Now, going back to Fran, when I saw him and saw him win in Mr. International España in I think that was around September. August or September, I knew then that this is going to be a major threat for the title. And even as early as then, I think I already posted even on my socials that upon his crowning, I see him as a possible threat and a possible, possible back-to-back winner for Spain in Mr. International. However, that doesn't also mean that wala siyang makakalaban. And this is where Peru's Estefano Ballarin comes into place. Now, if you haven't noticed, Peru has been having a very strong resurgence in pageants this year. We just saw Peru, oh my God, I forgot her name, a very interesting name, at Miss Earth, earning the Miss Fire na title. And this year, they sent a Hispanic Japanese na candidate at Miss International. So I am not surprised that we are seeing, Peru having a very good time in pageantry this fourth quarter of the year, because right now, as you all know, me and Mark Sobrajahani, we discussed Tati Calmel as a possible Miss Universe, or as our presumptive Miss Universe winner for tawag nito, for the finals happening on November 17. Now, this year, I see that among the candidates, the other candidate who's giving so much energy in his campaign for the Mr. International is actually Peru's Stefano Ballerin. And I think he has this, boyish charisma, but at the same time, he has a very approachable, rather, not enigmatic, approachable sex appeal that makes him really very interesting. And during the swimwear competition or swimwear, what do you call this? Swimwear presentation at the Kauai Beach Resort in Cebu, I really saw him as, okay, we have to take into consideration that this might be the candidate that's going to spoil the fun for Francisco Zafra's back-to-back campaign at Mr. International. Now, knowing that these are yung mga candidates that that are considered as some of the top contenders, I've seen a lot of pageant pages who have been, posting about their top picks, putting Fran Zafra and Estefano as the possible winner. So I am not surprised by that. Kung ako nga na hindi on-site na nagko-cover, nararamdaman ko that these two guys are possibly the best, the best guys who are going to win in the Mr. International competition this evening. Then how much more doon sa mga nagko-cover on-site who have released their hot picks for the Miss International finals this evening. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that these are the only two guys that we need to be taking consideration on. Nelson Ruiz of Colombia is one of the is one of the candidates that I am looking forward to his performance this evening, because Colombia, Japan, and Italy are some of the facially gorgeous na mga guys that I think could be a great complement to the 1-2 finish of Spain and Peru. Gabriel of Italy is really mesmerizing when it comes to yung facial features niya. He has, if I'm not mistaken, blue-green na eyes or gray na eyes. That is why napaka-icy nung stare niya. But at the same time, he smiles quite a lot in his photos and in his, in the video coverages of our colleagues there in Cebu. So I'm really, I'm really expecting that yung face card ni Italy would be something that he would use to propel him into a higher spot in the competition. Possibly a runner-up position, possibly one of the top 5 in my opinion. Then there is this cute Japanese candidate who actually looks very well built. Bato din ang katawan, he is very muscular, but his face is very boyish. So Akira, Mr. Japan, is one of those not very popular na candidates in the competition, but he's someone that I think people would have to pay attention to. Now, of course, I've mentioned earlier si Nelson Ruiz ng Colombia. I think he is a very much a shoe-in in the top 5 if he plays his cards well. I think among the candidates this year from Latin America, Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador are my topmost favorites. Isasabak ko na din siguro doon sa among the 5 best Latinos. Aside from those 3 would be Galapagos Island and possibly what's his name? I forgot his name, but he's from Venezuela. So if it's going to be a majority Latino-centric na top 5 for Mr. International this year, I would pick Peru, Colombia, Ecuador, Galapagos Island, and Venezuela. I'm still on the fence on Mexico, but he might give us a surprise in the finals later on. Now, among the Asians, I have 3 guys that I really wanted to make it into the top 10 or top 8 of the competition this year. Now, I've mentioned part of my top 5 is Japan. Part of my top 8 is, of course, Marvin Diamante of the Philippines. He has fought well. Hindi siya yung umaangat sa lahat, but he's not yung lumulubog naman in terms of his overall na presence on the competition. And then, one of the guys na I feel is really very masculine, yung arrive and yung dating niya, is Mr. India. India has this very masculine look on him that is really well suited for modeling. And if he wins and pursues a modeling career here in the Philippines, I think he's going to do great. Okay? So, that's for now my pulse on the Mr. International na competition. So, before we continue with our live stream, I want to take this opportunity to go over muna dun sa mga comment section and batiin yung mga nandito ngayon. Welcome to the channel. Hello everyone. So, let's start with Binibini International. Sabi niya, Konbanwa, Pilipinas. Hello Sir Jason. Thank you for including Angelica Lopez in your coverage. In a world full of Miss Universe contents, you still put a lot of your time for Angelica. Of course naman, Binibini International. Kasi, among the competition this year, I felt, and I think Mark also felt that, because when we discussed last Saturday na sino among the candidates of the Philippines in the Alpha Pageants this month has the most likely opportunity to bring home a title, that would be Angelica at Miss International. And since si Angelica din lang naman yung magiging topic natin later on, sige, pag-usapan na natin si Angelica a bit on your query. Kasi I think Angelica is giving us the kind of representation that any Filipino can be proud of. Walang tapon sa wardrobe. She's doing well actually in the competition, in my opinion. I think that among the candidates that we've sent in recent years, I think Angelica ticks off a lot of the boxes in terms of her preparation. Looks-wise, hindi nagpabaya si Angelica. I think she is very impeccable, always put together, always very... It's like there's no strand of hair out of place in the way that she brings herself up in terms of her daily wardrobe. So her daily wardrobe is very well planned. There is nothing that is too overpowering on her or too simplistic that she cannot pull it off, or too extravagant that she cannot carry it off. So I think that is, an ode to Vico and of course Mami G, her trainer, when it comes to the preparation ni tawang ito, in terms of preparation niya dito sa Miss International. So I'm really very much okay, sorry, I just got distracted because dami nagpa-pop out ng mga messages on Instagram on my other phone. Anyway, as I was saying, Angelica is giving us great representation wardrobe-wise, styling-wise at Miss International. And then looking at her preliminary performance, the preliminary evaluation earlier today, I am glad that everything that makes, Angelica so extra in her movements at Binibining Pilipinas, she unlearned it in time for Miss International, because what I saw her when I saw her at the presentation at the at the preliminary presentation of the swimsuit and the interview earlier in the Miss International Facebook page, I saw a more refined performance on Angelica. Now, what do I mean more refined and toned down? Hindi na siya magaslaw, unlike her Binibining Pilipinas finals in 2023. Her shoulder movements are not too extra. So I'm really glad that she is able to, to refine that. However, you would still see, some of her chinchucks, some of her, some of her very MGI-ish na performance on her swimsuit presentation, but it was just more refined and more toned down. And I think that is a great learning for Angelica, because she cannot be, overly magaslaw in her movements for a very traditional and refined pageant like Miss International. Now, that's not just it. She was asked one question during her Q&A, or during her interview process at the preliminary interviews. And I was glad that sa haba ng sinabi niya, she was applauded by the people in the audiences. And I think that she really registered sincerely, very simple in her answer. Even if, the question is loaded, like, what does she feel about, her representation, about her win, rather, last year at at Binibining Pilipinas, is with the criticism that she doesn't fit the mold of the Miss International pageant because of her skin color. She really answered it well, and saying that she is the best representation of who a Filipina is at Miss International. And I was really wowed by her answer, because feeling ko nagustuhan siya ng mga judges. I felt yung nakuha niya yung kiliti ng mga Japanese, because she was applauded. And I felt that yung applause masyadong malapit galing doon sa, I don't know, this equipment ng Miss International na live stream. So it really felt like it could have come from one of the judges, yung mga palakpak sa kanya. So I'm really quite glad, because I feel that despite people not giving a lot of attention on Angelica's journey at Miss International, I have this feeling that she's going to do well at the finals come November 12. Ramdam ko kasi yung sincerity, yung lightness of her presentation. Ramdam ko yung kanyang social media presence at the mga activities ng Miss International. And I think, more than that, I feel that she's taking everybody in the journey towards the Miss International crown. Because if I am looking at her daily activities, her daily OOTDs, yes, plakado, wala tayong problema doon sa OOTDs niya. However, when you go to her stories, which is where all the activities, all the interesting, engagements, what you don't see on the feed, doon nangyayari. So I feel that all of her stories are so much well planned, that she is involving not only her co-candidates, she's also involving, mga people behind the scenes, like the chaperones, like the people in the organization, and making it like it's a fun, a immersive, inclusive na campaign. And that is why I am very happy with Angelica's social media team for helping her really make the most out of the competition. And kudos din to Angelica, because yung pag-post on her feed, pwede kasing naka-schedule yan. However, yung pagpo-post niya on her stories, that is regularly, every day, there is at least 5, 6, or even 7 na stories on what's going on, who are she with. She's talking about, thanking the students in the class or in the school that they visited. She's talking about the practices on the Japanese sitar, the one that they call a koto, the koto instrument. She mentions about in her stories yung mga yung mga fun moments with the chaperone. So you know that there is an immersive involvement of people who follow her in her social media, na parang feeling mo kasama ka sa kanya doon sa journey niya to the Miss International crown. And I think that is a very great way of, taking everyone into your campaign towards the Miss International title. And ito din yung sinasabi ko na magandang kusa yung nangyayari when it comes to the candidates, when it comes to their social media. Because if it feels like dinidiktahan natin, it will come off as forced. And when it comes off as forced, it would look and feel like our candidate is not enjoying the experience. So, and so far from what I see sa mga stories ni Angelica, she is enjoying the experience. And because she is enjoying the experience, we in return, people who follow her on her social, are actually enjoying the experience with her, rather than being just an audience looking into something that is far off. Angelica's way of bringing us into the competition is through enjoyment and pleasure and excitement, and bringing us into the thick of things by the way that she involves a lot of people in her social media stories, in her postings. So that is the reason why I think in terms of yung kagaanan, in terms of the lightness of the experience, I feel that Angelica really is a strong contender for the Philippines' next 7th Miss International title. So, hindi man natin makuha yung title, runner-up man tayo, semi-finalist man tayo, Miss Friendship man tayo ang abutin natin sa Miss International, you know that our candidate gave it her all. And I think that is what matters most. Because in the grand scheme of things, it's not about just winning the title, but enjoying the process. And I think when we tell our girls, our candidates, that when you're there, just savor the moment, enjoy every day, take in the experience, that is exactly what Angelica is doing. And that is the reason why everyone is happy with her representation of the Philippines, because she really is, you know, bringing us and showing us that she's enjoying the experience. Okay, so let's go back to the comment section bago natin ituloy itong discussion natin with Angelica. Okay, Nat Manipol is here. Sabi niya, hi Jason, watching from Quezon Province. Hi Nat, I'm hoping na hindi hindi maulan or hindi bumabagyo dyan sa inyo, because we all know Typhoon Marce is on the northern part of the Philippines and on the exit route. Hopefully, exit route na. Okay? And here in Metro Manila, we will experience daw mga kalat-kalat na thunderstorms like what we experienced earlier na may mga kulog-kidlat. Okay? Binibining International, oh no, it's RM Macase muna, okay? RM Macase says, hello sir, it's so nice to see you again after hibernating due to pageant exhaustion. I agree. After all of the shenanigans that happened in some pageants, you really need to have a quick break, mental health break from pageants. So, naiintindihan ko yung punto de vista mo. Okay? Now, let's continue dun sa comment niya. I'm more into male pageants this year since Filipino pageant kings are having a better season than our queens. I agree. In as much as a lot of our queens are, you know, getting a lot of runner-up positions lately, yung mga pageant, yung mga male pageants, parang doon tayo kumakana. We just recently won the Mr. Global na title, care of Dom Correlia. And we're hoping na yung representation natin with Marvin Diamante would at least earn us even if it's a top 5 or a top 10 spot. So, masaya na tayo doon. What we're hoping for is actually a good... I'm not expecting a title, okay, at Mr. World. I am just expecting that sana magbunga yung 2 taon na... what do you call this? The 2 years that Kirk Bondad was waiting for his competition at Mr. World later in Vietnam. Now, apologies because I really thought that the pageant is going to be on December 3rd. I don't know where I got that. What do you call this? I got that date, but apparently it's November 23 yung finals ng Mr. World this year. Okay? I will have a separate content na lang for Mr. World after the Miss Universe pageant. Kasi medyo malayo pa naman ang Mr. World as of now. Just an update, we had a top 30 finish on the, what do you call this? On the talent fast tracks with Kirk. And then I am not sure if tama ba o namalikmata lang ako na we also were allegedly parang pasok tayo doon sa finalists ng top model with Kirk as well. Okay, so 2 for 2, hoping na totoo yung yung nabasa ko. I'm still looking pa mamaya doon sa actual na update on the top model na results. I am hoping na totoo yung chismis na nabalitaan ko that he's also part of the top 30 daw ng top model na fast tracks. Okay? Let's go to the comment of Binibini International. Sabi niya, yes sir, I also think Japanese people love the swimsuit performance of Angelica since naghiyawan ang mga audiences. So, I think nahuli ni Angelica yung kiliti ng mga Japanese people. I've seen a couple of one female and one male na chaperone na parati niyang kasama, and she's always having fun with her chaperones. Kung minsan ini-involve pa sa mga TikTok nila. So I'm really, I'm really glad that she is enjoying and savoring the experience, but at the same time, she's bringing on a lot of people to enjoy the experience with her. So there. Okay, continuing doon sa comment ni Binibini. I would like also to commend Nicole Baromeo's hosting in the swimsuit evaluation. I think she's the first MI runner-up from the PH to do hostings. Yes, she is. Also, it's her 3rd consecutive time attending Miss International in Japan. Yes, kasi nung panahon ni Hannah, I think she traveled there to observe and experience how the Miss International pageant is done. Okay? Wait. Nasaan na ba tayo? RM Case says, I hope Angelica's results shatter this popular belief that the Miss International leans toward a certain prototype. I agree. And I am hoping that this year there's also good representation from the African girls because based on the interviews, one of the girls na napansin ko was, of course, Miss South Africa. Miss South Africa, we all know that she's, a good contender because she already competed last year sa Miss Earth. So we know that she speaks well. Another girl, oh my God, I think it was Nigeria or Namibia. But I am honestly, hoping that there will be at least 1 or 2 Africans to make top 5 in Miss International this year. I do hope for a more diverse set of semi-finalists. Now, in terms of the people that impressed me, or rather that I remember doon sa pagkahaba-habang evaluation ng Miss International this year, I would have to mention Korea. She is a hanbok designer who uses recycled materials from plastic bottles. As you all know, kasi, okay, let me just explain how that process can be. When you break down yung plastic bottles, you can actually create, very thread-like fibers in terms of yung breakdown na structure ng mga plastic bottles. So kapag sa sobrang nipis niya, pwede kang gumawa ng sinulid out of those plastics. Doon nanggagaling yung polyester. Okay? And you can respin that and make it into textiles. Okay? Just for those who are wondering, how can you create textiles and fabrics out of plastic bottles? You actually can. And that is what they do to create yung mga Nike, Reebok, Adidas na mga sneakers that is made from recycled plastic bottles. Okay? Another candidate that I got that I liked during the evaluation is actually Miss Peru. As I've said, Peru is giving this season, this international pageant season. Peru did well at Miss Earth. I am thinking they might end up with the Miss Universe title this year. I am thinking that they might be in the top 5 again of Miss International this year. So, tapos, as I mentioned nga kanina, di ba, si Tati Calmel is our, what do you call this? Is our presumptive Miss Universe, our current presumptive Miss Universe preliminaries ni Mark. And I am thinking that because Peru is in the momentum this year, we might see Peru again at the top 5 of Miss International this year, especially that she has Japanese blood in her. Okay? Another girl na kapansin-pansin during the what do you call this? During the interview is actually the blonde Miss Mexico. Ang ganda niya. She was very visual, and I think that kind of beauty is something that is difficult to ignore. Yung ganung Barbie look is something that Japanese judges would not necessarily not give attention to. Okay, so I think Mexico can be a shoe-in at the finals this year. I'm also thinking Ireland. Ireland was really very nice, very pleasant with the way she talks during the evaluation. So maybe if the evaluation puts more weight on the interviews, then we might see her at the competition, the semifinalist slots in the finals on November 12. Hindi ko pinanood ng buo pa yung swimwear na evaluation. Because that, I think, will be better off for later, para mas mabuo ko yung sino yung mga tingin kong most likely comprising the possible top 10 or top 8 na mga favorites ko for Miss International later, probably around Tuesday. Ganyan. Ano pa ba? Sino pa ba? So far, yun yung mga, Miss Spain, the short-haired na blonde. If I'm not mistaken, she's a doctor. So, kinakailangan din watch out tayo sa kanya because she can be a spoiler as well in the Miss International na title later. Na it's been a while since they've won a Miss International title. I think the last one is Andreu in 2008. So we might be seeing, another Spanish señorita at the top 5 of Miss International this year. I am hoping that they would pay more attention to attitude, background, intelligence over just mere physical beauty this time. Okay. Nasa na ba tayo? Okay, sabi ni Binibini International, Sir Jason, sorry madaming comments. I would like also to get the chance na manawagan to please vote for Angelica via the Miss International app. Yes guys, I forgot pala to put it in my agenda na please make sure to download yung Miss International app on your phones and then vote for Angelica. There's a free vote that's available to everyone on a daily basis. Okay? Sabi ni Binibini, continuing dun sa comment niya, according to MI, the app voting has a bearing to the wild card and top 8 scoring. So, please guys, let's help Angelica out on this. Especially that si Angelica, nilalaban naman tayo ng bonggang-bongga. Okay? Sabi ni Mabuhay Philippines, ginawang MGI ang galawan ni Angelica sa swimsuit. Sabi ni MU, binakla ni Angelica ang swimsuit, MGI ang peg. I kind of agree because that is exactly what you've seen in the competition. But looking at her performance at Binibini, mas refined and toned down yung presentation ni Angelica. And what I like about that is that hindi niya totally binago yung sarili niya for the Miss International competition. She actually just make it more clean, more refined as compared to her Binibining Pilipinas na performance. So if we're going to look at it from that perspective, then I think mas refined, mas clean yung presentation ni Angelica ngayon at Miss International as compared to her performance at Binibini. And I think that shows yung growth and evolution ni Angelica. So for a Miss International competition, I agree na medyo binaklangan ni Angelica yung performance niya, but I think it's just being true and authentic to herself, na hindi niya binago ng total ng 100% yung pagkatao niya just for the Miss International competition. Okay? Yes, okay. Tama, Cabo Verde. Binibining International says Miss Cabo Verde as well after Stephanie Amado. I think she has a good chance as well. Daniel Yuzen is here. Sorry po, late ng slide. Don't worry. There's always the replay button later on. We just finished talking about our thoughts on Mr. International. The finals was actually happening this evening. Ang live stream nila mag-i-start I think at around 8 p.m. Pero alam naman natin ng mga pageants dito hindi naman nag-i-start talaga ng on time. So it might happen at around 9 p.m. Okay? So I do encourage for everyone to watch if you have the time. Okay? Sabi ni Mabuhay Philippines, may pagka-Precious Lara Kigaman ang datingan ni Angelica sa swimsuit preliminary competition. Okay. I kind of agree, especially because Precious, when she competed, was very morena. Daniela Alejandra Lee, hello, kumusta? I actually love Angelica's pasarela sa swimsuit. She's fighting and loving each moment, which I really love. Just like you, because nakikita mo that inilalaban niya talaga, and she really came in at Miss International in Tokyo with a game plan, and she's executing it perfectly well. Okay, so I think we covered Angelica pretty much very extensively and her performance. So let's now talk about the Heart World episode that aired last night in GMA 7. Okay, so it was a very emotional episode. This is one of those episodes na Heart Evangelista talks about yung experience niya and the betrayal that came along doon sa experience niya as a influencer, as a fashionista. Okay, and this was some of the clips and footages that you've seen during last night's episode, where also from the New York Fashion Week na tawag ito na nangyari, I think last, if I'm not mistaken, same time last year, same months last year or earlier. Basta alam ko yung mga episodes na yon is it happened at around the New York Fashion Week. Okay? And it was really very brave for Heart to include that doon sa episode niya sa Heart World. I've watched some of those snippets doon sa isa sa mga YouTube na mga vlogs niya, episodes niya on YouTube, yung the way she felt that that the betrayal was too much. And I think na with all due respect dun sa nangyari with the people na dati niyang nakatrabaho, I think Heart being that candid showed more of her vulnerable na side, and showed na despite what happened, despite all of the things that nangyari, nagpakatotoo siya na sinabi niya na the reason why these things hurt this much, it's because she loved these persons. And that is, I think, a common, a common thing or a common feeling for everyone who have been betrayed. And that kind of feeling is valid, and it is only when we acknowledge that kind of feeling that we can learn from it and move past it. And I think that was very brave of Heart to put it out there, to cry on national TV. And yung cry, yung pag-iyak niya is hindi scripted, but rather a consequence of what is really happening. Because this is a documentary style na, na episodic TV TV show, and hindi kadalasan planado kung ano ang sasabihin nung mga tao in a documentary. The filmmakers would shoot as freely. So hindi hindi siya kadalasan na ito yung script mo, itong sasabihin mo, unlike traditional telenovelas or sitcoms. So it was really ngayon after the episode, I think mas naiintindihan na ng mga tao yung depth of betrayal and the pain that it caused, because the moment na sinabi niya na kaya masakit kasi minahal niya yung mga taong yon, that really hit hard, especially for people who have been betrayed by people they trust and people that they love. And when someone has been betrayed and hurt by the people that they love, that is when you understand the perspective of those who were betrayed. When people, for no apparent reason, attacks you, whether it's in real life or on social media, kapag pinipilit nilang dinudungisan yung pangalan mo, mas nararamdaman mo yung pait nung betrayal, because when you showed people nothing but kindness, nothing but support, nothing but professionalism, and then they still manage to bring out the worst in them and showcase to the world, to everybody, how terrible they are, how money hungry they are, kung gaano sila kamukhang pera, kung gaano sila malisyoso, kung gaano sila gumawa ng false narratives, ng mga false na mga kwento, accusing you of things that they are actually doing themselves, like bullying, like being mean, or being mean girls, ganyan. You really understand yung depth of betrayal that Heart Evangelista experienced. And we all experience that kind of betrayal, whether it's in our professional lives, whether it's in our personal lives. And mas masakit kapag you consider those people as your friend, as more than colleagues, and you embrace them as part of your family. The moment na dinala ka in places that you would not be able to go to simply because you don't have the means, and ipinakita niya yung mundo na hindi mo ginagalawan noon, the possibilities of the fashion world, masakit naman talaga. And I get where the pain and hurt comes from. Okay? So next week, I'm sure another pasabog yan na episode. So aabangan na naman natin yan, and we're going to dissect everything that's happening in that episode. But looking at the documentary style ng Heart World ng mga episodes, this is something that from my perspective, I am so used to, because these are fashion films. If you're familiar with Loic Pageant, he is a French na filmmaker and documentary videographer. He does a lot of Fashion Week content, a lot of fashion content on Fendi, on Karl Lagerfeld, on Chanel, and other big brands. Nasanay ako doon sa fashion clip style na tawag ito na way of documenting fashion. And I think that is the same format that Heart and Heart's team did with the did with the Heart World na episodes. So if you are not if you feel that there is some sort of like a disjointed way of presenting yung story or yung narrative nung entire episode, this is because it is done in a fashion style, fashion documentary style. So it's not like a sitcom that you hit a line and then you move on to the next na very well planned, na bawat nangyayari doon sa episode is planado, scripted, with documentary style, especially fashion documentary style na tawag ito na way of storytelling. That is what we are experiencing with the Heart World na mga episodes. So for those na hindi familiar doon sa storytelling na method like this, I do suggest follow Loic Pageant, L-O-I-C, Loic Pageant, P-R-I-G-E-N-T, on YouTube, and you will be amazed with fashion content and fashion storytelling with the way that he presents these fashion narratives. Okay? Sige, balik muna tayo dun sa mga comments sandali. RM McCase, sabi niya, have you seen Miss Heart's IG pics with David Beckham and Win Metawin? I'm in awe, sir. Yes, I've seen it. And if you look at the people who gave a like, kasama doon si Michael Coste, and of course, si David Beckham. So, ang galing, di ba? And also, if I'm not mistaken, David Beckham is following Heart. Di ba? Ang cute. And even Marina Bay Sands, nag-like din doon sa photo ni Heart with Win Metawin and David Beckham. So that goes to show that Heart really is the Filipina global style icon, na hindi nagkamali ang GMA na tawagin siyang global style icon, because the people na nakakasalamuhan niya are people that are in the A-listers. Hindi yung mga pinipilit lang na tawag nito na makipag-selfie with celebrities, with Korean celebrities and all. She is invited doon sa Cartier event. She is invited with the Marina Bay Sands na event. So, and mind you guys, she is being paid. She's not there as a client. Hindi siya nandun as a client, but as a VIP client and as an influencer that they pay yung presence niya doon. And I think this is where you separate the influencer lang and the style icon. Kasi if you look at how fashion influencing works, there are those who pay their way for tickets at the events, international events, and then there are those people that get invited and get paid to be there at those events. So those are two different things. Iba yung nagbabayad ka for a seat at the table versus there is a table, there is a seat for you there, and then you are paid to sit there. So those are two different things. Okay? Where are we? Sir Ronan, hello. Good evening. Sir Ronan Refuerzo is here. Sabi niya, good evening, Sir Jason. Good evening. Good evening din sa iyo, Sir Ronan. And I hope na you're in good mood ngayong gabing ito. Okay? Okay, going back doon sa comment ni Daniel Yuzan, sabi niya, madalas naman, betrayal comes from the most trusted person. Sad. Yeah, I kind of agree. And this is also the reason why ngayong matanda na ako. Ngayon that mas matanda, okay, hindi matanda, hindi matandang matanda. Okay, now that I've matured, mas naiintindihan ko ngayon yung konsepto na it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to put yourself first. It's okay na magtira ka para sa sarili mo. Because you cannot give what you don't have. So, how can you have something if hindi mo inuuna ang sarili mo. And this is also comes to yung idea ko on charity. You cannot give to charity if your cup is empty. So fill in your cup first before you give, because that is the only way for you to be able to give freely and to give wholeheartedly. Kasi kung walang-wala ka, anong ibibigay mo? Okay? Sabi ni Daniela, knowing that Heart has been in the entertainment industry for quite a while, we cannot say that we know how it works, or even if we try to be more cautious about it, we are still human beings. Ira says, please like the live, guys. Thank you very much. Please, before pagpatuloy natin itong mga chikahan natin, please do leave a thumbs up dun sa ating live stream, so that mas marami yung makakita later on after the live stream ended. Okay, sige. Okay, Daniela Alejandra Lee says, I actually adore Heart for being herself. All the things that we see in her, she deserves it, and she has so much connection, and someone like Heart can also be vulnerable and humble as well. Ira says, yes na yes sa invited at hindi loan ang mga ginagamit niya na jewelry, bag, and couture pieces. Okay, now, let's move on to the next topic, and we are going to be talking about the Miss Earth. The Miss Earth pageant. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I am very, very happy with the Miss Earth results. Now, I know na maraming nagrereklamo, even, you know, mga Earthlings like Tita Belay said na yung CapCut daw ang nagdala. I understand that. I get the frame where you're coming from. Even Mark Sobrajhani posted in his IG stories na sana i-level up yung production. I get that. I understand yung saan kayo nanggagaling, because I also have come from that perspective. Now, I know that Miss Earth has its flaws. It has its faults. Much like the Miss International pageant, much like the Miss Universe pageant, na very much flawed din yung kanilang pageant. But the only thing that saves them is the gloss that they have. Now, let's take a moment to relax and breathe first. Okay? Kasi, kapag masyado tayong vocal sa criticism natin at paulit-ulit na lang na yan ang sinasabi, there is only two ways to take it. Either hindi tayo mapagod, or mapagod tayo kasasabi ng the same things over and over. And the thing about that is that on my end, I've already mentioned countless times that there is a need for more glossy pictures, more glossy entertainment, and finals for Miss Earth. But I think as you get old, as you mature, you realize that you don't have any control on anything. And the more that we try to dictate the pageants on what they should do, the more that we get frustrated if they don't. So rather than take it personally, rather than take it angrily that they're not listening to fan clamor, I don't know, maybe it's the stoicism, or maybe it's not giving the F anymore. I kind of realized that they do what they can do to survive. Okay? So, pageants, people, circumstances, sometimes we do what we need to do in order for us to survive. And I think that is the case for Miss Earth, Miss International, and Miss Universe. So, magrereklamo tayo na wala masyadong ganap sa Miss Universe, na nasa hotel lang sila. But here we have Miss International, who has daily ganaps, who travels their girls around Japan, and Miss Earth that creates active participation and travels for eco-related activities for pre-pageants for their girls, meron tayo pa ring reklamo. So, for me, I have adapted this. I'm gonna say, what are the things that needs improvement, but I'm not gonna dwell on the negative stuff because it is rather better for me to focus on what they did right. And with Miss Earth, instead of finding faults, finding flaw over and over, I think that it is much better for me to focus on the 4 winners right now because that 4 winners, sobrang happy ako doon sa resulta na hindi sila kumorona ng questionable ang panalo. So, much like a very gorgeous Zita last year, we have Jessica Lane from Australia, who I feel did very well in all aspects of the competition. Hindi siya yung pinaka-frontrunner sa swimsuit. Hindi rin siya yung pinaka-frontrunner sa evening gown competition, pero umangat siya when the way she speaks. And I think, that is something that for me, I would rather take that as a win, as a positive, rather than dwell on something that I cannot control, like the production. Yes, mishaps happen. They can improve that again next year. We can always clamor for them to keep on improving. But let's not take away din naman yung mga positive things that they have been doing. I know that a lot of, pageant vloggers, pageant fans are commenting na ang dilim ng stage, ganyan-ganyan. Sometimes, kahit na maliwanag yung stage dun sa actual na, actual na venue, ang rehistory niya sa TV is madilim. So, it has nothing to do with kulang yung lights sometimes or kulang ng magandang music ganyan, but for me I think I am banking more on just looking for the positives nowadays kasi if I'm gonna hammer on with the negative things that is happening, parang feeling ko I'm just gonna get frustrated both as a content creator and as a fan. So maybe it's about time that we chill and relax with the way that we consume pageants. Kasi this is the reason why we get pageant fatigue. That we get burnt out from something that should give us joy. So I think that this year, more than saying the things that they should improve on, I am just gonna harp on how gorgeous the winners are, how deserving the winners are. I know that on my end, nung habang nanonood ako ng finals, I was really rooting for Miss Mauritius. Miss Mauritius is one of the 4 or 5 girls yata. I think it was 4 girls from Africa who made top 20. I think it was Cabo Verde, Mauritius, Nigeria, I think Namibia din pumasok. So I'm just happy that this time around in the top 20 there were a lot of Africans, black gorgeous Africans who made it in the semis. And if it was me, I would have made my top 4 as Australia, Ireland, Iceland, Mauritius, and Peru. But kung pwede pang isiksik ko si Thailand, pwede ko pang isiksik si Cabo Verde, I would have loved that marami akong choices when it comes to possible top 4 finishes in Miss Earth this year. So I really am glad and hopeful that whatever production issues that Miss Earth has, they have another year to improve on it. And I am, I am really very much hoping na we give pageants some slack. Na wag tayong masyadong demanding. Much like when I said na wag din tayong masyadong demanding sa mga girls natin. And especially yung very controversial na yung unpopular opinion ko na inaway-away na naman ako regarding, not pressuring girls or not making, pageant girls and queens na mandatory na mag-post during calamities. Bigyan din naman natin ng room to breathe yung mga tao, di ba? So, ayun. I do just want that. Kasi, okay, here's the thing. I have covered Miss Universe, I have covered Miss World, I have covered Miss Earth as a pageant, media. And I have covered Miss Universe since 2014 to 2018. I have, the first time that I watched a national pageant, nanalo ang Pilipinas, and that was Miss World in Bali in 2013. The last pageant, international pageant that I covered was Miss Earth during the time ni Minadori, ni Mina ng Korea, when she won Miss Earth in 2022? Oh, tama, 2022. So, for me, I want that when I cover pageants, hindi siya it doesn't feel like it's a job. Like, I am chasing a deadline, I am chasing the monetization for content monetization. I want that when I cover a pageant nowadays, it feels more relaxed. It feels more, I am having fun. Kasi yun yung nawala when I was covering mga pageants, especially in Miss Universe. Kasi ang dami nilang ganap, ang dami nilang mga opportunities for coverage. I remember during my time, meron silang, this was in Doral, the first Miss Universe pageant that I covered, okay? Yung reveal ng new crown, I was there. Yung interview junket ng mga candidates na si Paulina Vega, nasa letter V na kami ng mga candidates, nandun pa rin siya ini-interview ng mga pageant media. I've been there na doon sa upuan namin sa preliminary competition na yung assistant ni Jackie Shahinian, binump up kami further up front doon sa stage, which also again happened during Miss Universe in 2015 nung nag-cover kami ni Nailari ng Sash Factor, na may part na kung nasaan yung media press people during the preliminaries, tapos biglang yung kaibigan namin na gwardiya ng Miss Universe, biglang pinaupo kami kahiler yung mga judges. All of these things, is fun. But there is also like, shit, kinakailangan kong mag-post, kinakailangan kong ma-edit itong video. So that has become like a job. And instead of me having fun with the coverages, parang ang feeling ko, super hectic na siya, na hindi na ako nag-e-enjoy sa pagko-cover ng pageants, na lang yan naman, gagastos ako ng 5,000 US dollars kasama pagkain, flights. Libre pa ni Nailari yung hotel namin noon. And I am not enjoying the coverage anymore. So, all of this changed in 2018 na sabi ko, okay, I'm not gonna do coverage for coverage sake. I am not gonna fight and be stressed na mag-cover ng Miss Universe sa Bangkok. So what I did was join ako with Nailari, with my friends in Sash Factor, na come on, let's enjoy the experience. And instead of magpaka-gaga ako sa coverage, we spent the time in Bangkok, touring around Bangkok with Powinsuda Druin. And Powinsuda, or Fasay for most people, was thinking of joining Miss Universe Thailand the year after. Kaya si Fasay, alam na namin na na sasali siya ng MUT 2018 pa lang, kasi during our time in Bangkok, na nag-ikot-ikot kami around Bangkok. We went to the Royal Palace, ganyan, yung mga museums there. We were all like immersed with enjoying ourselves. We went to the night markets, kasama din siya doon sa mga tour namin doon. And when I was actually ribbing, Adam Henato after that na nagpaka-stress ka. Kung sumama ka na lang sana sa amin na in-enjoy na lang namin yung Bangkok. We went around, a city tour with a future Miss Universe Thailand, sharing the entire experience with her and experience Bangkok from someone who knows the place was a much better time spent rather than chasing an exclusive, chasing an interview at Miss Universe. So that was the time that I felt that na-enjoy ko ulit ang pagko-cover ng pageant. And I don't want another experience covering pageants na hindi ako nag-e-enjoy. Kasi the reason why I'm doing this is not to chase for YouTube monetization, not for para meron akong may content pa, kasi kung meron akong may content, meron akong pera mamaya. Hindi yun yung motivation ko. So for me, my motivation is to enjoy and savor the moment. So this is something that has, I think, has become secondary to a lot of pageant pages and a lot of pageant content creators na instead of relaxing, savoring the moment, being there, being present, and enjoying the experience, mas nagiging competitive na, okay na, kailangan maganda yung shot ko. Kasi later on, kapag na-post ko, sayang yung monetization, sayang yung pera. Parang guys naman, if you're doing all of these things just because you want to earn a buck, I don't mind. That's you. But for me, if I am going to do something, I want to enjoy and savor the experience. And I think that is one of the things that now, as a content creator, if I don't feel joy in what I do, I'm not gonna do it anymore. And that is why I am trying to find and rekindle yung joy and happiness in coveraging, in pageant coverages. Because yun yung feel ko genuinely na nakalimutan natin collectively as pageant fans. And I do hope na people would not take this hindi sila ma-offend dito sa sinabi ko about content monetization, because there are a lot of people that have different motivations why they do this. Some, they are the breadwinner of their family, so kinakailangan nilang kumita ng pera para this is a job to them. This is not a passion project for them. For me, it is a passion project, and the reason why I am enjoying, savoring the moment, it's because this is something na I feel helps me center, so that when I go to my day job, fulfilled ako on my personal na passion project. So when I go to my regular day job, I can give 110% dahil fulfilled ako on a personal note. And when you are fulfilled on a personal note, the more than you can give to my students. Kapag nagbibigay ako ng mga examples sa kanila on social media, that's because na-experience ko siya when I'm doing pageant coverages na ganito yung monetization if you want to monetize your social media later on. Or ganito yung trick on how to gauge whether or not your post is effective, because this is the metrics that you need to look at. So it becomes more complementary, the passion project that I have with Pageantry, with my life as a fashion educator. So parang ang ganda nung relationship nilang dalawa, that they complement each other, that they are in harmony and in symbiosis with each other. So this is the reason also why I feel that I am more passionate with my day job. It's because when it comes to my personal life and the personal projects, personal passion projects that I put my heart into, mas fulfilled ako on both ends. So yun. And this is, I think, for me, is the reason why nowadays, if I'm going to look at a pageant like Miss Earth, ang titignan ko na lang is the things that they are doing right. things that I am enjoying that they are doing right. Rather than puna ako ng puna, wala naman akong ambag dun sa financial na tawag ito, financial na nilalabas ng mga pageants na ito sa tawag ito, sa sa pag-set up ng production nila. So, I will do a critique, but nowadays, I am constantly reminding myself that if you're going to do a critique, do it via the sandwich method. Good, bad, and then good. Para hindi naman sila feeling na they are being attacked. And I really felt uncomfortable with the, what do you call this, with the interview ni Lorraine Shock, where na-bring up yung, what do you call this, na-bring up yung production sa kanya of the Miss Earth. Kasi I feel that this is a constant nagging na topic ng bawat pageant fan on Miss Earth. And I just hope that instead of nitpicking, we also find what they are doing right. And the mere fact that their stage is 80% made out of recycled material, that's a win. That's a major win. Hindi lahat ng mga pageants kayang sabihin yon, kayang ipagmalaki yon. So, and guys, I also love the fact that the outgoing queens, when they were crowning their successors, were wearing the Ramona Har na mga crowns, which made me feel like, shit, ang galing nila kasi hindi nila diniscard yung mga crowns ng tawag nito, crowns ng previous tawag nito, previous mga crowns nila. Just for the new sponsored crowns. Parang I feel na it is still part of the Miss Earth na brand na hindi nila diniscard yung mga old crowns na to. And that I also feel that those crowns being used there was very purposeful, na nothing is relegated to waste, that everything has a place in the organization. So I am really very happy with that. When I saw, especially Drita with the flower crown ng Miss Earth, na habang kinokoronahan niya si Jessica with the Long Beach Pearl na Miss Earth crown, it felt for me that nothing is being wasted dito sa pageant na to. Kaya very conservative. They are being very true with who they are as a pageant. So, I do hope that in the future, tayong mga Pilipino, especially I am urging yung mga pageant vloggers and pageant pages na kapwa natin Pinoy who cover the Miss Earth, to be more kind to Miss Earth. Kasi I feel na masyado ng pinupuna ang tawag ito, ang Miss Earth, without actually thinking of ano yung ginagawa naman ng Miss Earth na tama. Na hindi naman natin na-highlight masyado yung ginagawa ng Miss Earth na tama. And parati na lang tayong yung hindi maganda ang pinupunan natin. Okay? Guys, wait lang ha. Let me just connect to a power source. Kasi 20% na lang yung ating battery. Oops. There. Okay, so we have one last topic and then we're almost done. Let's now, ay shucks, ang dami ng comments. So, where did I end? Guys. Okay, I think it's the last comment that I read was Daniela. Yung comment ni comment ni Ira. Okay? Now we're going dun sa comment ni Daniela. Daniela Alejandra Lee says, Australia is so adorable. I agree. Her beauty is very astonishing and she's very knowledgeable and witty. I love. Congratulations to Australia. Plus, guys, we can also be proud of RL Lacanienta of RL's Angel because he is the trainer of Miss Australia. So, RL, congratulations, good job. This is the second international title na napanalunan ng isang RL Angels na trained na beauty queen. First, we had Antonia with Miss Supranational, and then we have now Jessica Lane with Miss Earth. RM Marquez says, to be honest, iwas muna ako sa Facebook. It is saturated with toxic comments to Miss Earth from Pinoy pageant fan pages who are singing praises towards MGI. The hypocrisy is hilarious. I agree. Kasi, in as much as we love the gloss ng mga pageants, we also love na sana naman may dignidad, may dignity, may integrity yung pageants katulad ng meron sa Miss Earth. Okay? I love Miss Peru and Iceland, sabi ni RM, but Australia deserved the ME crown. Nasasayangan ako kay Sheridan last 2022. I agree. But then again, Mina is a very good Miss Earth winner. So I also understand. But if it were up to me, I would have given it to Sheridan. But then again, maybe it was just not the right time. Or talagang the judges really preferred Mina. Okay? Charlie Nguyen, sabi ni Charlie Nguyen, di naman ganyan last few years now sobrang tipid sila. Sumusobra sa tipid and tipong mas maganda pa yung ibang regional production dito. Again, valid yung yung tawag nito, yung criticism, Charlie, but if you keep on reiterating that over and over, it becomes some sort of a nag. Hindi na siya criticism. Okay. Sabi ni Daniela Alejandro Lee, I think people are misinformed about the pageant. We can't compare Miss Earth to others and vice versa. Miss Earth is something that cannot look down or disrespect it. We should just let it be and support. Tiger B 0719 says, galing mo talaga, Sir Jason, for enlightening our minds. Grabe how toxic fellow Pinoy pageant fans who compare Miss Earth to a barangay pageant. I hope we realize that it is not cheap to stage a national pageant or in an international pageant at that level as well. Daniel Yuson, Sir Jason, can you please clarify kung ang kalidad ba ng finance production ay basihan din para mo-consider ang isang pageant as major or minor? Gosh, I can't believe I can no longer retrieve yung isa sa mga tawag ito, mga sinulat kong articles in the Sash Factor forum in 2014, I believe, about yung mga what I consider as tawag ito as the criteria to call a pageant an alpha or a major pageant. Definitely the gloss of the production and the entertainment factor should be there, but also dapat kasama din yung pre-pageant activities, kasama din yung advocacy and how they are being true to that advocacy. What are the steps that they do to stay in line with that advocacy? Kasi hindi ka naman pwedeng magsabi na, oh, I'm a pageant for inclusivity, pero sasabihin mo na, okay, married women, 30-year-old, older women can join but they cannot win. I mean, the math is not mathing, di ba? Of course, kasama din yung quality of candidates. And I think Miss Earth, in terms of the quality of candidates, is much better in terms of holistic na approach, mind, beauty, body, and intelligence, rather than mere visuals lang ng isang, recent pageant na maganda nga ang mga winners nila, pero wala namang ginagawang anything that would help improve society. Diba? Okay. Now, nasaan na ba tayo? Sabi ni Charlie Nguyen, it's not another year to improve. Nangyari every year, nagiging tipid and cheap na tignan production, kaya paunti na rin nang paunti sumasali na bansa sa Miss Earth. Tiger B0719 says, and when they see a super glossy provincial pageant, galing yan sa taxpayers' hard-earned money. Agree. And I think hindi na nare-realize ng ibang mga tao yan. So, unfortunately, that happens na all they see is the gloss, pero they don't necessarily see where the budget is coming from, na dahil election ngayon, kaya malaki ang prices sa mga pageants. Especially if it's sponsored by the government. Okay? Continuing sa comment ni Tiger B, even worse, politicians siphon funds from public budgets for these productions. This is so petty. Okay? RM McKay says, last year, Vietnam did a bonggang edition of Miss Earth. Still, the bashers did not stop the hate. This is the reason why naglaylo ako sa pageantry. Hindi nakakatulong sa mental health. Yari NCDB says, wala silang pa-online vote na may bayad. Di pineperahan ang mga fans. Di nakafocus sa business ang Miss Earth, and they produce caliber and worthy queens. I agree. Unlike Miss Universe, unlike some other mga pageants na the voting is maglabas ka ng pera if you want a semi-finalist position. So, it has become a money-making machine. And it's sad. Kasi I understand pageants are a business nowadays. They have to stay afloat. But I also understand that kinakailangan din you are true to your purpose as a pageant. Ayun. Okay? Sabi ni Tiger, balik tayo sa comment ni Tiger D. And yes, ang chill at healthy ng discussions mo. We need to keep it this way. Thank you. I try. I really want as much as possible that super magaan yung pakiramdam ng conversations natin dito, that we don't end with a bad feeling at the end of the live stream, that we end always our live stream with a positive note, that you don't come out of this live stream feeling that may galit ka, feeling na may resentment ka, but rather let's try to center our conversation to much more positive na approach on pageantry. Saan na ba tayo? Yari NCDB says, at RM case, true, walang contentment, mga fans, nagiging sobrang entitled na. Daniel Yuson says, ay, parang mas bagay na title sa iyo yung nabanggit mo, Sir Jason, Pageant and Fashion Educator. Thank you. Which is nakakataba ng puso because as someone who straddles the world of pageantry and fashion and the academe, it really helps yung mga ganitong mga comments because it validates that we're doing the right thing. Okay? Where are we? Yari NCDB says, conserved energy nga ang Miss Earth, taliwas sa advocacy nila kung sobrang flamboyant ang production. Daniel Yuson says, or probably kasi yung theme ni NE this year, heritage, kaya binalik nila ang Ramona Haar crown. Sana gawin nilang every year na ganon. Because I want to see the old crowns being used to pass on yung new crowns dun sa new winners, so that it also validates yung reign ng mga outgoing queens as elemental court, because it gives them like I am not just passing the title to you, but I am also being treated like a queen. So there. Sabi ni Pierre, Sir, I remember that Miss Earth used to be broadcast live on Star World. Do they still air it in an international channel? I would rather choose ME over MU because my experience is unmatchable. I am not sure anymore. Parang buhay pa ba ang Star World? Kasi I think there were a lot of television shows that really tumiklop after because of the pandemic. Okay, now, so let's, it's 8:30. Almost mag 2 hours na naman tayong nagla-live stream ngayon. So let's now go to the fifth and last topic that we are talking, that we discussed, that we posted rather on our social with regards to the LVMH sales drop. Okay, let me just pull off some numbers with you. And this is coming from the LVMH website, and yung kanilang what do you call this? Yung kanilang quarterly na report that was published last October 15. Okay? So, where are we? Okay, so based on the report that they have, the wines and spirits under LVMH is at a negative growth at negative 11% this third quarter. Fashion and leather goods is at negative 3% this third quarter. Perfumes and cosmetics saw a slight growth with positive 2. Watches and jewelry is at negative 5%. Selective retailing is at 1%. And the overall na LVMH is at negative 2%. Now, why is this, why are we talking about the LVMH drop in terms of sales? This is significant because LVMH is a multi-billion dollar na industry. They are some of the biggest conglomerates that there is. In fact, they have at around 40 to 50 brands ranging from fashion, leather goods, perfumes, wines and spirits, and even watch and jewelry brands. So, si LVMH, pag-aari niya ang Dior, pag-aari niya ang Fendi, pag-aari niya ang pagkarami-raming mga brands, and they have multiple licensees with other companies for their eyewear and perfume. Okay, why is this significant? Because of the huge na market ng LVMH. They are usually treated as the industry barometer if the luxury goods sector is healthy. And last 2023, ang laki ng growth ng ng luxury goods sector as a whole. However, with 2024 coming in, suddenly we are seeing a lot of losses. And one of the companies, the Kering Group, the Gucci Group, is one of the most affected na luxury group conglomerates, with Gucci reportedly having a double-digit negative growth in 2024. So, why should we be alarmed by this? Okay, LVMH, because it's such a huge ship, is usually very resilient. They can weather even some of the toughest na mga financial atmospheres compared to other conglomerates. A single-digit negative growth is a huge it has a huge negative impact on the entire luxury goods sector, because kung nasa multi-billion yung tawag nito, yung industry na hawak ng yung market share na hawak ng LVMH, a negative 1%, a negative 2%, or negative 5% is in the hundreds or is in the millions na talo nila, na negative, na on the red sila. So this is huge, and because LVMH is such a huge ship, usually ang mga ang flag bearers nila are Louis Vuitton and Dior. And based on a based on a report from the Business of Fashion, sinabi doon sa interview from one of their executives that the Louis Vuitton was a little bit much better because yung kanilang performance was above the negative average na 5% ng tawag ito, ng performance nila over this last quarter. Dior, however, is they did not disclose kung gaano kababa, pero Dior is insinuated to be mas malaki yung this growth, yung negative growth than the negative 5%. So, that tells you that sales for Dior is not as healthy as we expect. Na they are they lost money in the last quarter. Okay, and this is quite ironic because if you're going to look at the reports ng launch metric over the Paris Fashion Week, over the last two Paris Fashion Week, the Spring-Summer 2025 and the Fall-Winter 2024-2025 na seasons, Dior is always at number 1 in terms of the MIV value. You look at Lefty.io, that's the same thing. Dior is always at the top 5, top 2 of the EMV values ng tawag ito, EMV values ng Lefty.io, which means that if we are going to look at the MIV and EMV values of Dior from these from Launchmetric and Lefty.io versus the reality that the sales is slumping, that is going down for LVMH and for Dior, then we can say that EMV, MIV value does not have a direct relationship with sales. Na walang kinalaman ang MIV value sa business na side ng fashion. So, for those people who keep on harping about MIV and EMV values, guys, the MIV and EMV values, those are not values that the brands earn. They don't get money from the MIV values. That is just an imaginary value that these apps assign to the engagement on social, on online media, and on print and traditional media. So which means that kahit na sabihin natin number 1 in MIV, number 1 in EMV, it does not necessarily translate into good finances, good revenues for the brands. So, why are we talking about this? Wala naman tayong kinalaman dito. Yes, wala tayong kinalaman dito, but our influencers might be. As you all know, Dior is one of those brands that invests heavily with influencer marketing for their brand. LVMH does that across their luxury brands. And if luxury goods sector is going down, it's slowing down in terms of consumption. And a report here says that Asia, which accounts to around 29% of revenues of LVMH, is going down as well, then we might see LVMH lessen investments on influencer marketing in the upcoming na mga fashion weeks. So, baka mabawasan sina Heart ng invitations, sina Pia, sina Zoe, sina Kylie ng invitations from brands owned by LVMH. So, which means that in most cases kasi, when brands are not hitting targets, one of the first things that they do is to scrimp on expenditures. And marketing expenditures is the first on the chopping block, aside from opening new stores on non-performing or lesser performing markets. So, we might be seeing in the next fashion weeks, next year, starting with the Couture Fashion Week in January, na baka mabawasan palalo yung mga invites ng mga influencers in mga couture shows. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is that because luxury goods have increased very much yung kanilang margins, affected yung pagbibili, yung sales and revenues nila, because a lot of consumers are not spending on luxury goods but are rather spending that on wellness, wellness na mga products, spending it on skincare, spending it on travels and vacations. So people are now spending more on experiential things rather than luxury good products. And I remember that one of the biggest, news over the past 6-7 months was that yung price increase ng Chanel, quilted Chanel flap bag, from from 2019 to this year, is that the Chanel bags have around like 90 or 91% price increase, and resellers are not selling newer products but would rather resell vintage Chanel products from the 80s and the 90s because they have more premium and more value as compared to the newer Chanel products. And this is also the reason why Chanel as well is also experiencing the effects of the luxury goods sector na slowed down. And then earlier this year, there was a report from the Italian investigation from the Italian authorities, saying that there are sweatshops in Italy that produces Dior bags that would cost at around 52 euros, but they are actually retailing it at around 1,500 euros, 1,500 euros and up, and that their markups were so exorbitant. Na ang taas ng patong nila. And this is one of the reasons why luxury goods is at a downturn nowadays. So, what does this mean for regular people like us? It's just that the people who look at fashion and luxury will have to readapt, rethink their strategies when it comes to packaging their goods. They need to be more exclusive, because consumers who can afford luxury are more likely not to spend on luxury goods when they feel that the brands that they cater for are pretty much accessible to all. And this is where naiiba ang kaso ni Hermes, because as you have noticed in my Fashion Friday post last Friday, how exclusive the Birkin is, that you have to be waitlisted. Before they will sell you a Birkin, you need to invest on a relationship with the brand first. You gotta have a couple of Kellys first before they will allow you to even purchase a Birkin. And I think that is one of the reasons why Hermes is very much on top of the game when it comes to the luxury, because it is not easily accessible to all. And what does this mean for our favorite na mga influencers? It means that you need to start investing on the brands if you want to continuously be invited to their shows. Hindi pwedeng hanggang invite ka lang. Kinakailangan din na bumili ka ng mga products nila if you want to continue the relationship with these brands, because if these brands are experiencing a downturn and that they're going to lessen their investments on influencer marketing, then you need to be the kind of influencer who consumes the brand as well. Okay? There's a comment here from RM McKay. Sabi niya, "Sir, under these economic climates, which luxury brands are actually killing it in terms of growth? Schiaparelli, maybe." What I know of as of this moment is that the healthy na brand is Hermes, and this is, the reason why the reason why rather they are at a healthy na situation financially is because they embody yung sinasabi nila when it comes to luxury being exclusive, na hindi lahat ng mga tao can just buy a Birkin or a Kelly because they just want it too, diba? So this is the reason why Hermes, I believe, is in a good financial standing because they stay true with the spirit of what luxury is about. Okay, so guys, we had a very long, productive na conversation. We had like 1 hour and 44 minutes na tayong nagla-live stream. I just wanted to thank you for everyone who joined our live stream. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for supporting our channel. Before we end this live stream, please leave a like, and for those who are new here, please subscribe to our channel. We are hoping that ma-hit naman sana natin kahit 10,000 subscribers in our YouTube channel. Malapit na tayong mag 50K on Facebook, malapit na tayong mag 20K on Instagram. So I do hope that we grow our YouTube community together and hit kahit 10K lang. Okay, thank you very much for everyone who joined us. Have a great evening, everyone, and have a great week ahead. And oh, by the way, please let's support our girl Angelica Lopez in the Miss International pageant. Let's download the Miss International app and vote for her. Let's cheer on Marvin Diamante in tonight's finals at Mr. International, and let's also support Chelsea Manalo in Miss Universe in Mexico, and Kirk Bondad in Vietnam in their upcoming na competitions on November 17 and November 23. That's it, guys. See you again in our next live stream. Bye, everyone, and have a great week ahead. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.